It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here and this is episode number 209 of our podcast where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
A lot.
I'm brewing hazelnut over here. How about you?
I've got the breakfast blend.
It's delicious and it's in the afternoon.
Oh my God. Okay.
So, if you're not drinking bright and early coffee, you are missing out. This coffee is absolutely delicious. We have a code on bagged coffee. Use our code CWTCL15 for 15% off bagged coffee. Where should everybody go?
brighthandearlycoffee.com.
And if you like K-Cups, they have them on Amazon. Follow them on social media. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okie dokie, artichoke. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired. We had last weekend of celebrating Sophia's birthday. Next weekend, I'm talking now, but this will all be over by the time this comes out, of Ella's birthday. Then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's my birthday. So busy over here.
Wait. That means we need a cake on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you said you wanted a mocha birthday cake, right?
Yeah. I want like a peppermint mocha cake. Oh, like a mocha cake with like the peppermint icing. I think you made that for me one year.
Probably. I can make that again.
That would be good.
That sounds good to me, too.
I know. Sounds really good. Yeah. So we'll be working our fannies off on Monday. We have so much to do. We are remote today. We're expecting some really bad weather this evening, so we both had to kind of hunker down and be at home for this.
Yes, we will have a lot packed into the next 10 days or so, and then back in the studio in early December.
Oh, yeah. We'll be doing lots of things. We have our Backyard Chicken Summit presentation that's going to be due right after Thanksgiving, so we will be working on that for you guys. Right. We have been busy. We have been really business busy, and it's great. It's awesome.
Fantastic. I feel like, though, let's just do cookies for all of the December recipes.
I was already thinking that.
Yeah.
So if you have a cookie idea that you would like us to come up with a recipe for, send it over.
Sure thing. Well, earlier today we were on the phone, and you said you wanted a snickerdoodle cookie recipe. And you mentioned cranberries, and I was immediately like, I want a chocolate snickerdoodle. But then I was looking into some cranberry type cookies, and I found this. It's just a chocolate chip cookie, but instead of chocolate, it's white chips and cranberries.
Yeah, they usually do white chocolate and cranberry together. They're
nice.
Really good. Yeah, it's really, really good. So we're going to do December cookie month because, hey, you probably eat 1 million cookies in December, right?
Oh, yeah. They don't last long in my house. But I have a brand new 1980s goose with a blue ribbon cookie jar to fill.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Right there.
1980s and vintage. It's like unbelievable to say it together.
It's hilarious, really.
The 80s feel like they were just yesterday, but they weren't. No, they weren't.
If I were in any doubt, my bones would tell me so.
Oh, yeah. On that note, if you're listening to our show and loving it, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button because they count them and they rate us. So if you hit it, you can help the show out and you never miss an episode.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken-loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. And the other thing you can do to help support the podcast is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
So, not sure if anyone has gotten the memo, but we're kind of chicken people.
Yeah, we're into chickens.
So recommending an omelet igloo coop is a pretty easy gig.
Because we're into igloos too.
Yep. I've had mine for about 6 years. I've got a Go Up, 3 cubes, and a Pro.
Oh, so I have an Igloo Pro.
If you don't know igloos, they're green.
A dream to clean.
Fort Knox for your flocks.
If you're into chickens, you need to get into igloo coops. And right now, they're 20% off.
Ooh, Black Friday. You know the deal.
Oh, I know the deal. Search omelet. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tea, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. A gobble gobble here and a gobble gobble there. Gobble 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 everywhere. Gobble here, gobble there. When you gobble everywhere. It's time for the Breed Spotlight, yeah.
Yeah. That was a little catchy one.
So if you guys haven't guessed, today's Breed Spotlight is
The Narragansett Turkey.
it's a turkey gobble gobble. And this is Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your time with your friends and your family and eat lots of great food.
Exactly. That sounds good.
It's one of my favorite holidays because all you're expected to do is cook and eat, and that's it.
I love Thanksgiving. I mean, it's
Me
just so
too.
nice to be with family and or friends and just literally gratitude for everything. It's a beautiful holiday.
It is.
And the food is delicious.
And I'll be 35 shortly after it, so.
Okay, turkeys are indigenous to North America. So wild turkeys were domesticated, they were bred, and they were raised for centuries, probably millennia, in Mexico. And they moved up with farmers into what we know as America. So they were first introduced to Europe by returning explorers, and it's a good guess that they appeared first in Spain. There are records of turkeys in Europe as early as 1511. So
Okay.
very, very early. The English and the Dutch probably weren't far behind. It definitely would have been in the same century in the early part of the 1500s. The Europeans took a very keen interest in turkeys, and they started selecting for various traits and actually developing turkey breeds. And I got to tell you, from all my reading, what I have gathered is that the English love them some turkey.
Oh, yeah.
When the settlers began sailing for the New World in the 1600s, they often brought their improved turkey breeds back to the Americas with them, which I just love. Now, the beautiful Narragansett turkey was a product of this repatriation, and it was one of the earlier developed American breeds. Most sources mention the Norfolk Black, which was an English turkey, as the foundation breed for the Narragansett. A few sources claim that they're also mixed with Eastern Wild Turkey, which does make sense. And just a note, the Eastern Wild is the largest of the native subspecies of turkeys in North America, so that would have been a good choice for improving size in a domestic turkey. They're named for Narragansett Bay in Rhode Island, and you found them off through New England, but they were also in the mid-Atlantic as well, so not too far away.
Right. Sounds good.
Turkeys became a very important farm product throughout the 1800s. Wild turkeys had been hunted since, explorers started arriving in the New World. And during the 1800s, they were actually becoming scarce. And as the Industrial Revolution took hold, more people were actually buying turkeys from commercial farmers. In New England, farmers tended to raise the Narragansett, though the Livestock Conservancy does note that they were never quite as popular as the bronze turkey. But apparently, farmers would range their turkeys in huge flocks. We're talking like more than 100 or 200 birds in a flock, massive flocks.
That's a lot.
Yeah. One protected and well cared for turkey hen could hatch and rear up to a dozen babies. So if you have 10 turkey hens and you breed them, you could be looking at 100 turkeys very easily. Heritage turkeys ended up hitting the same kinds of problems after the 2 world wars that all the other poultry did. They were being replaced by newer breeds who could meet commercial demand in better ways. Since the Narragansett has been an American breed since the very early days, it's only fitting that they were included in the first printing of the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1874.
I think our listeners are probably all schooled that the first printing was 1874.
1874. What else was 1874?
The manure thing.
Manure spreader, yes.
Yes, exactly.
The Narragansett is, of course, an American heritage breed. They are currently found in the watch category of the Livestock Conservancy's conservation priority list. They are good show birds with their beautiful plumage and their stately size. They're gorgeous birds.
The Narragansetts are essentially a mix of earth tones on a black base. Okay, so they have penciling and or bands of brown, tan, cream, white, and or dark gray on their feathers. They're very colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Turkeys are always very colorful, I feel like. They got a lot of gray and black, but they also got a lot of dark and green sheen and things like that mixed in.
Turkey feathers are gorgeous.
They're really pretty. The legs and the feet are dark salmon pink, and they have black turkey beards with those red heads that will turn blue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because many of the modern Narragansetts haven't been selected for commercial production weights, you can find toms weighing anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds and hens from 14 to 17. It's pretty common. Turkeys are some of the bigger poultry out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, probably the biggest. I don't know, maybe geese are bigger, but it's probably a toss-up.
I've seen some pretty big African geese, but I think probably if you averaged it out, the turkeys, especially if you're looking at toms, because the toms can be massive. I think turkeys probably have the advantage on weight.
I think the toms, when you can have up to 30 plus pounds for one, definitely have the advantage
big
there.
Bird.
Now, turkey hens are seasonal layers, and the Narragansett is no exception, okay? They're considered reasonably good layers, usually providing a clutch of about a dozen eggs in the spring, and sometimes in the summer as well. So you might get double eggs. Now, they lay large cream to light brown colored eggs with dark spots and speckles. Turkey eggs are really pretty.
They're very pretty.
Turkey hens will go broody and make very good moms, and their ability to rear a clutch of poults probably contributed to their early success in commercial farming.
I mean, if you could breed them and let them do everything they needed to do without an incubator, you were golden back then.
Right, exactly. So if you're looking to get into turkeys, Narragansetts are a good choice with a couple of caveats, okay?
Temperament is apparently attached to the genetics to some extent. So you want to find out if the breeder was selecting for calm birds or aggressive birds. I guess maybe some breeders want an aggressive bird if they're free-ranging. Most that you encounter should be calm, though. Also, Narragansetts are good flyers. So they may need a top on their run or a covered field to range in because it's probably not fun to get a turkey out of a tree.
Well, the other thing is, I believe they all need tops to their runs anyway for predator control. So you want to keep people out of there. So it's a double purpose right there.
I never knew that turkeys could fly. I mean, I just think of them like the same way like large breed geese, like they can't get enough lift. But when we met Roger Williams, the turkey at Mount Vernon,
right,
he was marked as a flight risk. And apparently they can get, I guess their wings are huge. They can get some lift.
They got some big wingspans on them. So yeah, they can probably get up and go. That's for sure. Now, here's the big question. If you want to get into turkeys, where do you get them? Because you need to know this.
You can get Narragansett turkeys from McMurray Hatchery.
Our friends at McMurray do carry them.
And you can also check the Livestock Conservancy's breeders directory if you're looking for someone who is a breeder near you. You can plug in your zip code and see what you can find.
So, if you have the Narragansett, let us know, send us pictures, give us a story, hit the mention button, put our name in, and then that way it's easily shared. Okay, gobble gobble, happy Thanksgiving.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder in 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes. Are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this week's main topic, we're kind of keeping it simple because everybody's out there trying to get ready for Thanksgiving and everything. But we were talking the other day and we were like, we haven't really talked about this, but there is an important topic that especially for new chicken owners that they're going to need, new chicken moms and dads out there and families, choosing the right waterer for your flock. And there's a lot of choices.
A lot of choices. We'll talk about the pros and cons of some of them and, give some suggestions for what to do in the wintertime.
Yeah, I mean, let's just start with saying one that we would not suggest would be anything galvanized. And galvanized is one of the major things out there that's available to people, that and plastic. Both of those things have cons to them. Okay.
Right.
Galvanized, it's got metal. It's metal. So when it rusts, it puts out too much of some things. When
it also, galvanization, the process is coating usually aluminum or another metal with zinc. And so over time, if it weathers, the zinc actually runs off of the waterer into the soil. That in small amounts, not a big deal. In large amounts could be a problem.
Right.
If you like to put ACV in your water once a week, that will very, very quickly rust your water with holes or leached metal or something like that. They look nice. They do look nice, especially if you have sort of a galvanized aesthetic on your farm or backyard or homestead, but they do have some serious issues.
That would be one suggestion to me where the cons outweigh the pros when it comes to waterers. One thing is there's a lot of waterers out there that hold a lot of water, and that's good and bad, right? So if you have galvanized and that water is sitting in there 24/7 because they're not going to drink all of the 5 gallons that it holds in one day, it's actively soaking in all those metals that come off that galvanized metal. And then your chickens are drinking it in the water.
Right. In the summertime, also metal waterers get really hot. That can be an issue. And, we'll just give our usual caveat. You have to find what works for you and your flock.
Right.
You and I are maniacs about clean water and clean dishes. So
Right.
we don't actually use enclosed waterers at all because we like to scrub our stuff every day.
Right. So the next thing is a water that's made of plastic. And in the summer, that can be fine.
Right.
But I have a thing that with any water that holds more than a day's worth of water, because you tend to leave it out. And water, I feel like you just said, needs to be fresh every single day. So you're either changing a 5-gallon water every day and wasting mostly over half of it, or you're getting a different kind of thing. Now, here's the thing, the caveat with the plastic waters, they crack in the winter.
Yeah. They can also actually heat up a lot in the summer if you don't have them in the shade.
Oh, yes. I've been a witness to that. Like, I've had some waters that are plastic that I still own. And if you don't have them in the shade, that water is hot in there for sure.
Right. And then if you're talking about the plastic waterers, a lot of times you have a choice between the nipple tips and the cups.
Right.
Not all birds are okay with the nipple tips. I mean, some are fine, some aren't. My question is, how do you clean them? Do you have to take them apart every time you clean them?
I've had some where you take them apart and you can use those little brushes that you use on straws and stuff and get in there and clean that. My other problem with that is the plastic seems to promote more of a fungal growth in it. So if that water stays in there at all for any length of time, you're going to get that green fungus kind of that grows.
Oh, algae.
The algae kind of stuff that grows in there.
Yeah.
The other thing is if you use the cups, this is what happened when I did. They kick debris into the cups and then they can't get water out.
Well,
anything that's a cup.
Debris into the bowls too.
Right, but it's so much easier. You can take a strainer out there and clean it out, like if you need to. Those little bowls, it's really tough. So I still think plastic is a better idea than galvanized. And if you want to use it, I just think you have to put it in the shade in the summer. You have to watch for it freezing and cracking in the winter. You have to change it frequently. You have to watch for algae and fungus. You have to do all the things. So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about was big 5-gallon versus smaller bowls. Now, what we recommend are those black bowls. Black rubber bowls. And you can get them at TSC. You can get them at your local feed store. You can get them in all different sizes. And the simple 98-cent brush, Holly just bought another one at IKEA.
I bought 4 more.
That you hang in your run every morning. You pour the water in, you scrub the bowl, and you bring out the water. Or you pour it from, if you have water back there. I am not that lucky. I have to tote 6 gallons of water out every morning.
No, I tote water too. And it's okay. I just do it a gallon at a time. It's fine. Again, my worry is microorganisms growing in things. And rubber, well, it does a lot of things. I mean, in the winter, I love it because the black rubber will actually heat up and keep it from freezing a little longer. If it does freeze overnight, all you have to do is twist the bowl a little bit and the ice pops right out.
Yeah, and it's easy to dump at the end of the night before you even, when you put them in, you can just dump the water.
Yeah, I forget. Well, Pete does most of the closing up and he doesn't dump them, which is fine. And if I do it, I forget. So if you do forget, it's easy. It's simple.
So there's a lot of things that you can do with the black rubber bowls to help during the seasons. The water will get warm in there even in the summer. And that's why we give our other ideas for how to keep the water cool with the ice and things. In the winter, like Holly said, it collects the sun and it heats it up and it keeps it. And you can also do that little trick sometimes if there's wind to put a little ping pong ball in there. Keeps the water moving.
So they say.
I haven't tried it. I use a heater, but
they also say that ACV will stop your water from freezing. And neither one of these things is true. You can try it, but it's going to waste your time and your money.
I mean, we use heated open bowls that are big dog bowls that you plug in and they're electric and they just keep it and it's easy.
I mean, and after using them for the last 20 years, I will say that eventually they also get brittle and crack.
They're plastic.
They're plastic from the cold. And sometimes the heating element on them goes bad. So, I mean, that's just a caveat. I mean, if you've got days where it's not getting above freezing and you have access to them, absolutely use them. Because that means your birds are going to have unfrozen water to drink, and that's the most important thing.
And they're usually about $20 a bowl. If they last you a few seasons, you get your $20 worth. You get a new bowl and you move on.
I think they're more like 25 to 30 now.
Everything's gone up.
A lot. Right.
So, they're not bad to last you a few seasons and see how they go. The other reason I like the separate open bowls is because daily you can put what you need to put in your water and put it out supplement wise for them.
Right.
People are like, do I need supplements? Supplements are great to put in the water because chickens drink a lot of water all day. It's a great way to get things into them.
Yeah, it's a good vehicle for all kinds of things, whether that's probiotics, vitamins,
Electrolytes.
Electrolytes, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to change those things daily. I mean, you can't leave that. That water can grow with a lot of the stuff in there, and no preservatives. That water can grow nasty pathogens pretty quickly. So that's another reason you just want to dump and scrub every day.
Right. And IKEA, that's the place to get the brush, 98 cents.
I love me some IKEA. I'll kill you.
We love that it has the hook on it. We hook it right on the fence. Each run has a brush, and you just scrub it out every day and then put the water in. I mean, I use a garden cart to pull out my 6 gallons of water a day. And I put in there, for a week or so, pre and probiotics, and then they get their nice, strong animal chicken elixir. So yeah, changing that water daily gives you the ability to do all the good things with the water.
Now, you do something really fun with one of your big black rubber water bowls. You have it inside of a big empty tire.
I do. And what I've done is my neighbor is going to got some more tires because he just replaced them on his work van. So you can have some too.
Woo!
So what it does is it takes that big black rubber bowl off the ground, so it's not directly on the frozen ground. You put bricks down in the middle of the tire, and then you insulate it with like popping material from packaging material all in the tire, and you insulate
like bubble wrap and things like that?
Yes, and then you put the bowl, and basically it keeps the water from freezing a little bit longer.
This probably won't apply to very many people, but I know some of you also have sheep. And when you shear a sheep, you have a lot of junk wool, like off their legs and their butts and their belly. You can actually use that. It's a really good insulator. So you can stuff the inside of the tire with that if you have it available.
Yes. And then once you have the bowl on the bricks, it's another heat conductor. The bricks suck in that sunlight. So again, heats it from the bottom versus cooling it from the bottom.
And the chickens really like it. They like to get up there on that tire.
They use it as like a perch around the water. And if you look at our social media, we have lots of videos of the chickens drinking water on the tire. So it's another good way to put your bowl out there and protect it. But water is so important for chickens. I mean, and people and everything else that we figured we would talk about it because a lot of people don't know the options. I tend to not go with the big multi-gallon waters. I don't think they're worth the money. I just don't.
I agree. I mean, and again, some of this comes down to what you're comfortable with. I know some people will fill those and go on vacation. And if they're comfortable with that, that works for them, carry on. I would be chewing my fingernails to the bone, afraid that my birds were going to knock over the water or not have any or something like that. I want the control. I want to know that that water is clean every single day.
Exactly. And the other thing they do is kick stuff in the little trowel that goes around their drinking trowel. They kick stuff in there.
Yeah, they do.
So if you have a big wide mouth bowl, they're less likely to do that. And if you put it up on the bricks in the tire, it keeps the stuff out of it even more.
Probably raising it even a little bit. If you put on a cinder block or two or something like that, just raising it enough to keep that out of like kicking level.
You could put that cinder block inside the tire, and then they could get up on the tire and then get into it that way.
Yeah. I also love those black rubber bowls because you can get them in various shapes and sizes. And I like the big, shallow ones. And I'm using those with my geese in cold water. Because trying to maintain any kind of a pond in the winter is a nightmare. I'm sure there are ways to do it. But with 3 geese, I found it's just easier to fill up a few of them. They are making that side of the run a little muddy, so I'm actually going to put down some pea gravel, and I can nestle the dishes on there, and I just fill them up every day. The geese get in there, they take a bath, they have a good time splashing. They can't dive and submerge, but it's enough to keep them happy. I'm sure you could do the same for ducks too.
Yeah, I think the key is fresh water every day, cleaning the vessel that it's sitting in, keeping the bowl clean. It doesn't mean having to bring the bowls in and scrub them. If you have the scrub brush out there, put some water in it, scrub it maybe once every few weeks, bring it in and give it a good scrub that way. But keeping that water clean can help your chickens stay healthier. That's for sure. And keeping them, bringing that water in their body also keeps them healthier. So, it's really an important thing. And you know what? I'm going to say what I started with. I started with a 5-gallon hang up plastic water. And I, by the end, was so frustrated with that thing because I could not get a brush inside to clean off the stuff that was growing in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they would kick stuff in that little trout that went around it all day long.
It's like a little moat, and then we get filled with junk.
All day long. And I was constantly just cleaning it out, and it was so dirty all the time that I finally got to the point where I was like, I just want a big bowl. That's it. And
Right.
then I found that worked the best. It worked the best.
I mean, I will admit that occasionally in hot weather, I have somebody who gets in the bowl.
That's good, though. It's okay.
It happens.
Margot does it all the time in the hot weather. I think those are the smart ones. They're like, let me cool my feet off. Let me
absolutely.
go.
I need some cool feet. Absolutely.
Now, the other good thing there's one more thing I want to bring up is if you have an open bowl next to your feed, birds who like it can make their own mash also. And I like that idea. And I've seen them do it. They take the water in their mouth. They go into the feed bowl, dump the water from their mouth into the feed and make a mash and then eat it that way. So it gives them a little bit more variety even with having water bowls that are open.
I've also seen birds do that. It's the funniest thing. I mean, I usually make at least a couple bowls of mash for each run in the morning, but it is really funny. My sister has a horse that does the same thing. And then when I saw one of your birds doing it, I cracked up.
Yeah, it's even a boredom buster in itself. They can make their own mash. They feel like they're making their food. They're like, okay, time to make the mash.
Moistened. Thank you very much. Moistened.
So how we're going to end this is if you can get the big black rubber open bowls, you're golden. Those would be our recommendation.
Absolutely. Again, you can't go more than a day and just leave them where they are because a million things could happen and they just won't have drinking water, but we really do think that they're one of the best options for cleanliness, access for the chickens, all of those things. And the price is pretty good usually.
Like the super big ones might be $15, and that's not that bad. And they last forever. They last a long time.
Yeah, they do. I have a couple in my run that my chickens are using that actually were llama and alpaca feed dishes from 20 years ago.
Yeah. Can we put up like a link in the show notes, like maybe to TSC because they do carry them? So
we can link them. Mm-hmm.
And that way, if you want to see what they look like, go to the show notes and you can go and see it where you can get them through different places. Okay. So we're ready to move on to
cracking the eggs.
Cracking those eggs. Now, this is coming out the day before, 2 days before Thanksgiving. And every house in the States is a bustle. Like, if not, people are traveling to grandma's house, traveling to auntie's house. In my world, everybody's traveling to my house.
Yeah.
So things are busy. But our recipe, we said we're doing Thanksgiving recipes all month.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we're doing
smoked oyster dressing. Now, dressing is simply the traditional word for stuffing that is cooked outside of the bird.
Right. In Maryland, it's a thing.
It's very much a thing. So this stuffing is a modern, updated version of a traditional oyster dressing that was eaten in colonial and early America. And honestly, right up through the 1980s around here.
Right.
The smoked oysters add a touch of just delicious smoky flavor. And using smoked oysters also keeps the cost down. I mean, buying oysters to make dressing is not like it used to. It used to be oysters are pretty inexpensive. Oh, no, not anymore.
Everything's expensive now.
But even before inflation hit, I feel like the cost of seafood had started going up and up. Now, the addition of an egg may seem odd, but it was an old way of making the stuffing into dressing. It was you add the egg and it gave it a more similar texture to stuffing that was cooked inside of a turkey or other roasted bird. If you really don't like it, you can omit the egg. I mean, that's kind of not really a crack in the egg spirit, but it's okay. The egg if you want.
Let's go into the ingredients that we're going to need. We're going to need 1 loaf of bread or gluten-free bread cut into 1-inch cubes or a bag of gluten-free or regular breadcrumbs. If you're using fresh, cut into cubes and allow it to get stale or bake in the oven for 10 minutes. When I do my muffins, I bake them on Monday, let them sit out so that they get nice and dry. It's opposite of the way you want things, but it is the way you need them. 2 tins of smoked oysters, drained and roughly chopped, a half a pound of sweet Italian sausage or Impossible plant-based sausage or turkey sausage, 1 egg whisked, 1 cup of diced onions, 1 cup of diced celery, 1 cup of diced carrot, 1 sweet tart apple, peeled, cored, and diced, a 1/3 cup of butter or non-dairy butter, 2 to 3 cloves of chopped garlic, 3 cups of veggie or chicken or stock of your choice. You could use veggie, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh sage leaves, 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme, chopped, 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh rosemary, and sea salt and pepper to taste.
And just a note that I should have put in here, you don't necessarily use all of the broth or stock.
No, it's just to moisten it just enough.
Exactly.
It's what I do to mine.
Right. If you have extra left over, don't pour it in there because you're going to mess up the texture.
And you only do it a tiny bit at a time because if you put too much, there is no going back. You can make bricks out of your dressing or stuffing.
It's not good.
So you only start with tiny amounts of fluid at a time.
If you're doubling this recipe, unless you have an enormous baking dish, and I mean enormous, we suggest that you get yourself 1 or 2 of those large oval foil baking dishes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of room in there. They're big enough to accommodate both mixing and baking of a double recipe. Other thing is, you can actually do all of the steps of this up to mixing in the stock and the eggs the day before. Like you can
I do
cook
that
the
with
sausage.
mine.
I do too. Chop the herbs, the veg, all that stuff. So, okay, ready to do it. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to grease or butter a 9 by 13 inch casserole dish. You want to add the breadcrumbs and the chopped smoked oysters to a large mixing bowl. Cook the sausage in a large skillet over medium heat for 7 to 10 minutes or until it's completely browned and cooked through. Use a slotted spoon to add the cooked sausage to the bowl with the bread. And leave that rendered fat in the pan because you're going to cook your veggies in that. In the same skillet, add butter if necessary. Then you're going to add your onions, celery, carrots, apples, garlic, your herbs, your salt, and your pepper. Saute that for about 8 to 10 minutes or until the veggies are soft.
Now, when you saute anything for Thanksgiving, I love the way butter sautés the veggies for stuffing. I use both. I use olive oil and butter, but usually I don't use butter for health reasons. I only use olive oil, but on Thanksgiving, I cook it all in butter because it's delicious.
That's why I said add butter to the rendered fat because it tastes amazing.
It does. And it's like, I don't do it any other time but Thanksgiving Day, I'm not worried about anything with cutting calories. I'm worried about the best taste that you can get. Right. And butter just has the best.
So you're going to pour 2 cups of that stock or broth into the skillet with the veggies and scrape up all the brown bits on the bottom, stir it around, let it heat up. Pour that over the bread, sausage, and oysters in the bowl. Pour the beaten egg over top. You're going to mix that together. Again, if you need to add more broth, this is when you can do it. But don't add all that's left. We already gave you that caveat. Mix everything together, but try not to overmix. You just want to moisten it. You want it to be, reasonably distributed. Put that in your baking dish. You're going to cover it and bake it 30 to 35 minutes. Then you're going to uncover it and bake it again for anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes if you like the top a little crunchy.
I always like my stuffing to have a little bit of crunchiness.
A little bit of crust on the top, yeah.
Yeah.
And then serve and enjoy.
Enjoy. It's Thanksgiving. All the butter
delicious.
in it. Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week on Retail Therapy, we're taking a look at something we haven't taken a look at yet, and that's turkey on nest dishes. We were like, do they exist? And the answer is
yes, they do exist.
And there's a lot of them.
There are. I mean, they're not quite as common as chickens, but there's still plenty of them out there.
And they're beautiful.
They're gorgeous. I mean, you can find some of the, classic makers of hens on nests like Indiana Glass and Boyd. But then you can find them in so many colors. You can find them in slag glass, in carnival glass, in jadeite. They're really, really cool.
Now, have you seen the uranium glass?
Yeah.
That's the glass that like glows green.
Sometimes they call it Vaseline glass, I think.
Yes, exactly. And my Uncle Sal was telling me about this like a year or so ago. And he's like, Chris, you got to go look at all this stuff. And just one popped up on here.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think when we were in Ohio, we saw lots of that stuff in the stores. It's really popular. But the turkey on a nest, if you collect hens on a nest or ducks on a nest, you're going to want to add some turkey.
Absolutely. I love the way the turkey dishes look. You're also going to stumble across, and the maker was usually Ellie Smith, and I have the one that they made for Williams-Sonoma. You're also going to stumble across a dish. It's a turkey dish, but the turkey is not on the nest, if that makes sense.
Right.
And they, again, come in all the different milk glass, color glass, et cetera, et cetera. I even saw some, oh yeah, that was really cool.
It's turquoise carnival glass.
Yeah.
And that one's $85. The one thing I've noticed is that they're a little more expensive because they're a little more rare than the chicken.
They are a little more expensive. I found some as cheap as $20 on Etsy. I think they tend to fall in the $40 to $80 category for the most part.
Yeah, there's some like 20, and then there's this Ellie Smith amethyst carnival glass, $150.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's not a turkey on a nest. It's a dish.
It's like the rooster. I think Ellen, one of our listeners at one point, gave you the rooster that had the
milk glass
legs.
Rooster dish, yeah.
This is the Tom, basically, right. And it's $150, but it's awesome.
Again, remember my Williams-Sonoma one that I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
It's that one. It's that mold.
There's so many of them. But
I found one of them in jadeite. I mean, they're beautiful.
Jadeite is amazing. Now, you can also, you're going to go try to find them in the wild. That's going to be hard. If Holly and I are in a thrift store and we see one, there will be a fight for that. No doubt.
Maybe shed over that.
But you can find those, or you can go to all the usual spots. Etsy, eBay. Now, I wonder Poshmark, since I'm just realizing that they have them, they might have them there too. But, just Google it and the stuff comes up. I know it's the most fun finding them in the wild, but
that's a good find. I've never seen one in the wild up until now.
I've never seen one in the wild. I've never seen a turkey on a nest. I've seen plenty. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of chickens on a nest.
Tons of chickens. I found a few ducks. And I have that one gigantic goose on a nest that's porcelain.
Right.
But turkeys, no.
No, I've never seen turkeys. So we know where you can get them if you order them online. You can go to Etsy and eBay and places like that. If you find one in the wild, believe that be grateful because people don't find them a lot. Yeah, grab it and go.
That turkey.
Okay, so before we end today, we just want to say thank you. We are so grateful to all of our listeners out there. Thank you to everyone who supports us, sponsors, listeners, everybody. We're feeling really grateful. I mean, the holiday, we feel grateful all year round, but it's Thanksgiving. And
this is also something extra to be grateful for. This is our 4-year anniversary.
Yay! Happy 4 years.
In December, we are moving into the 5th year of this podcast.
We are, and our 42nd year of best friendship.
Yeah. But I will take you out for a turkey on a nest.
I will take you out, girl. I will take you out. So we just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Have an amazing holiday. Soak it all in with the time with your family, your friends, your kids, everybody.
Or yourself. Like if you want to sit solo in front of the TV and eat stuffing, do it.
Whatever you want to do, enjoy this weekend. Enjoy it. It's once a year and it's an amazing time. And know that my birthday is on Sunday.
Oh my God.
Okay. On that note, should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting the absolutely adorable Chanticleer chicken. I love this chicken.
Yes, I love them.
Main topic, it's you and I. We're guest-free again. And we're talking about choosing next year's chickens.
What do I pick?
So many decisions. Cracking the eggs, chocolate snickerdoodles.
Oh, yeah. Cookies.
I look forward to developing that recipe. And retail therapy, it's our annual gifts for chicken people.
What should I buy Holly Ann for Christmas?
Everything. All the turkeys on the nest and all the gooses and ducks. Ducks on nests.
Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.